Welcome to another Duranie Distraction, baby. It's a bright and sunny Saturday morning, and I have an amazing, fantastic, incredibly special broadcast today for you in anticipation of Monday, I think. If I could do my math right, the anniversary of Live Aid is coming up. I mean, oh my gosh, this was a day that completely blew any standard of charity out of the water. Bob Geldof did something that was absolutely amazing, and it's in the record books, and everybody remembers where they were when this happened. So I thought I'd take today to celebrate the anniversary of Live Aid. And I wish so much you guys were here, because I just love hearing all the stories about where people were and, you know, which performances meant so much to them. I mean, it was just an amazing show. There were so many giants, so many icons, legends. I mean, oh my God, there's so many stories. So I tried to pull together some stories across a variety of memorabilia. So I don't know how it's going to go today, because it's definitely not one book that we're going through. It's a whole bunch of really cool stuff. Hopefully I can pull it together. Thanks for hanging with me, all your patience, as I hold things and try to maneuver and multitask. Okay, so good to have you guys. We have a lot to get through. Thank you so much for joining me. Al-Marie is here. Hello, Al-Marie. And, you know, just the international flavor, the impact of Live Aid is something that just gives me chills. I really wish I had been more aware. I know I was going through my own, you know, growing up and just not really, you know, just getting into Duran Duran. I wasn't really planted in front of the TV like a lot of you were, but I certainly have tried to make up for it. I mean, I just love soaking in all the performances, and there's some really cool backstories that we'll be getting to. Debbie Cruz is here, and then Teresa, hello. Okay, so rather than just sit here and read all your names and just send out lots of thousands of hugs, let's get right to the celebration of Live Aid. It's going to start with a little affirmation. So find your place. Let your worries just wash off you like a cascade of negativity. Just not here, not in this place, right? This is all about love and Care Bears and Ewoks and fuzzy things, fuzzy tingles. Care Bears, wow, there's a reference. Okay. Here we go. Positive affirmation. I love you guys so much. Okay, that wasn't it. I'm getting into it right now. I am good enough. I am strong enough. And gosh darn it, I love the co-stars in my pop trash movie. Oh, couldn't be starring with better people. Okay, here we go. Live Aid, baby. Okay, so we're going to start off. I figured the best way to start off maybe is from a perspective of John Taylor. Okay, he talks a little bit about it in his book, in the Pleasure Groove. That was, you know, that is like an amazing release. So many international publications, definitely fans out there who have collected like all the different incarnations. I've tried, but I don't hold a candle to some of the fans out there. Okay, so in this book, in this little section, John talks about the magnificent success of Bob Geldof's Band Aid charity. He said after the charity inspired Bob and promoters Harvey Goldsmith in London and Bill Graham in San Francisco to mount the greatest concert event of the 20th century, Live Aid. Bob announced plans for 2 concerts to take place simultaneously on Saturday, July 13th, one at Wembley Stadium in London and the other at JFK Stadium in Philadelphia. Oh my gosh, I'm getting tingles already. Oh my God, that's so cool. Okay, Duran Duran would be one of the main attractions. Hell yeah! Okay, whatever infighting was going on, there was never any question that all 5 of us wanted to appear at Live Aid together. As a generous concession to the power station, Bob offered Andy and me a spot in the Philadelphia show in addition to Duran Duran. The American bill featured Madonna, Bob Dylan, a reunited Led Zeppelin, Tina Turner, and Mick and Keith. Andy and I met up with Simon, Nick, and Roger at our hotel in Philadelphia 2 days before the event. We had some rehearsing to do, never having played A View to a Kill live on stage before. There was a nervousness in both camps. Our relationships had not gotten any better since Paris. If anything, things had gotten worse. And yet, in that ugly, stinking downtown rehearsal room, away from the media and the bright lights, the girls and all the wedges that had come between us, the tensions melted away. Makes me think of all the reports about how all the egos, all the arrogance, all the rock star swagger, it just stepped aside for just an amazing, everybody come together. Okay, I'm not going to get in the way of John's words. Sorry. Playing with Duran was fun. I had forgotten how much. More fun than the power station. Had I come to that realization too late? On the day, there were faces everywhere. In our dressing room, Rupert Everett babysat Jade Jagger. As Led Zeppelin took the stage, with my friend Tony Thompson on drums, I made my way stage side, passing Jack Nicholson on the way. Just painting such a picture. I had never seen Zeppelin before and would never forget them. Their opening song, Rock and Roll, was the highlight of the event for me. Mick and Tina created showbiz magic, perhaps the glitziest 10 minutes of the day. Then it was Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, introduced by Jack, then Dylan, who played a seriously ramshackle set with Keith Richards and Ronnie Wood. Before we took the stage, we posed for one more photograph with Ken Regan, then we were rushed out onto the boards at prime time, opening our set with the #1 song in America that week, A View to a Kill. On stage, we played as hard as we knew how, but when the curtain fell on our performance, 20 minutes and how many million TV viewers later, none of us had any idea that the curtain was falling on the first act of our career and our lives together. It would be 18 years until the 5 of us would take the stage together again. So, he really paints a picture of how, Live Aid had its own significance, absolutely historic and epic. But for Duran Duran's career, it also played a real role. I mean, this was the band reuniting, and you could kind of see them on the stage, 2 totally different camps. Nick and Simon had the black hair, and Roger, and then Andy and John had just come in from their tour. They were totally rock out with the hair, and they're 2 totally different mindsets on that day. But man, did they come together, and they didn't have much rehearsal time. But God, just to see them, and how many of us were sitting there in front of the TV, waiting, and it wasn't just Duran. That's one thing I really want to try to represent today, is it wasn't just Duran, it was just so many performances that were just epic. I mean, you got Queen, Freddie Mercury. Okay, I'm talking too much. Okay, so that was an incredible narrative by John, and then let's go right to one of the big posters. Yeah, I'm going to go big today, huh? This is the official, the official poster from Live Aid. The Global Jukebox, it says. And here we have, the date and all the performers. I mean, look, it's just an amazing list. God, you got Wembley, got Adam Ant, David Bowie, Phil Collins, who actually rode the Concorde and made both shows. How's that for commitment? Elton John, Howard Jones. I mean, I don't know. It brings up all the emotions for me. I'm not just showing. I'm feeling this. So, oh my God, it's so cool. Okay. Then we're gonna have. This is a recent acquisition. Never knew of its existence before. This is from a Canadian paper called The Citizen. Photos are by award-winning photographer John Major of Ottawa's community-minded newspaper. Let's see, yeah. So what's really cool about this is it says Live Aid concert at the top, but it includes a photo of Simon. I rarely see that in a lot of the most common Live Aid promotional posters out there. Usually they stick with a lot of the big epic Wembley shows, Wembley performances and stars, but you have Simon down there. Let's see if I can get up close. You can see Simon? Oh, that's so cool. That's so cool. And you got Robert Plant, you got Bryan Adams, you got Phil Collins. It's just, and the crowd, we're gonna see some amazing shots of the crowd. And then of course, Tina and Mick. Oh, just so cool. The energy that they had. Oh my gosh. Then, here's a shot of John. Oh my gosh. Smiling and just owning the stage. And Duran were later that night, so this is when he was on the stage with Power Station. Just absolutely beautiful. Could you imagine being faced with that many people? Oh, I can't. It has not happened to me. Although, I tell you, the electric thrill that comes from just doing this broadcast with all of you tuning in, yeah, I do not take that lightly. That's, little stage fright, a little bit sometimes. Okay, this is how the band looked backstage. You can kind of see, they all had their looks going on. Short, dark hair, although Nick had a lot of hair there at that point, But yeah, John and Andy were just like the quintessential rockers, and it was just a very difficult time for them. But they, we'd still love to see them, and it was amazing. Okay. Then we're going to move on to, okay, fine. You want more, John? Okay. This is from Star Magazine. Another great shot of John with a scaffolding behind him, just doing what he does, and he just did it so well. Oh my gosh! I just remember how the band looked on stage. I think there might have been fans, or maybe it was the wind, just kind of blowing their hair, especially at night when Simon. Well, I'll show you. Here's some shots of Simon. I think I've visited these before. There you go. I visited these shots before, but they certainly bear revisiting. There's Simon just with a guitar. There's some good close-ups right here. Marvelous. I loved seeing them on stage. Michelle Perner's here. Hey. Okay. So that was Simon. And his jacket was flowing, and he put his hands out, and it's just all charisma and sexiness. Okay, so here we go. We're going to have some fun with some really cool factoids and memorabilia. History.com reports 110 countries watched the massive concert courtesy of 13 satellite feeds. The Guardian ratchets the number up to 150 countries. 150 countries watching a single broadcast. Amazing. This is the Worldwide Concert Book. And I have all kinds of pages marked. But it's a beautiful publication, and all of the proceeds, of course, went to charity. And it has all the pictures of everyone. Simon is right here. It's just so amazing. Inside, you have all kinds of photos. Look at this. This is Princess Diana and Prince Charles standing with Bob Geldof, and look at the crowd. Oh my God. Oh my God. That's so cool. I mean, there's just never been anything like it. Absolutely ever. Absolutely amazing. Okay, so then I tagged this spot here. There's another great shot of the band being sprayed with water. I heard it was really, really hot on that day. Temperatures soaring. Everybody just excited for their favorite band and just the energy. Okay, so here's in this whole book, it's organized by when people came on, all the chronology. At Wembley, Dire Straits came on stage, and then they deliver a very tight set. And then they're joined by Sting, who boogies with guitarist Mark Knopfler. Sting sings, "I Want My MTV," which understandably brings smiles to the faces of the MTV team backstage, who are screaming the whole thing. Suddenly, Bob Geldof lets loose, and not because of his bad back. He's heard that the television appeals are slowing down. He yells at the television interviewer, who is about to recite the address for donations. "Fuck the address! Give them the phone numbers!" We later learn that there was an astronomical upsurge in contributions, and in America, the phone computer broke down under the weight of 700,000 calls. You know, this is one of the things that I even remember, I just have to keep in mind now. I mean, there's so much out there that kind of brings us down, but there's such beauty in the way that people come together, and I see it everywhere I look. I just have to look for it. There is beauty out there, and this is such a perfect example of it. 700,000 calls. That's so beautiful. One of the best performances I think we might be able to all agree on, Freddie Mercury. Oh my God, I watched Bohemian Rhapsody and the tears were, I can feel it even now. Not gonna cry on camera, but it was amazing. I think it was Dave Grohl said that was the best, people walked away having seen the best performance in rock history. It was just amazing. Let's see. Oh, David Bowie in London and Mick Jagger in Philadelphia had planned to sing an intercontinental duet, but technical problems ruled it out. So they made a video together instead. Both Wembley and Philadelphia watched Bowie and Jagger dancing in the street. It is later reported that in some parts of Britain, young people left their television sets and went out and, yes, danced in the streets into the identical music pouring through every opened window. I mean, it couldn't be choreographed better. I mean, it's like a music video. It's so beautiful, so poetic. It's something that could be scripted in like some fantastic romantic comedy, or not even comedy. It's just a beautiful, beautiful moment. Just imagine that, everybody dancing in the streets to this. Oh my gosh. Then a real live Bowie comes on stage at Wembley, stylishly dressed in an ice blue suit, and sings his classics, Rebel Rebel, Modern Love, and Heroes. He leaves the stage flushed with excitement and emotion. Let's do it again next year. Let's do it again every year. Then he comes back to tell the audience, you're the real heroes. Bowie, right? David Bowie. It just says everything about that man. I miss him so much. There's some beautiful shots of Freddie Mercury. Beautiful. Fantastic props to Rami Malek for the performance he did in Bohemian Rhapsody. Look at this. This just captures all the charisma of Freddie Mercury. Absolutely amazing. When I watch Radio Gaga, I am under the table. Just fantastic. Jennifer Chow is here. Oh, she remembers that, so she likes the song, Dancing in the Street. Okay, so then we go right, of course, into the Power Station when they came on stage. Beautiful. Michael DeBar just absolutely owned it. Just owned it, every bit the rock star. And of course, John and Andy just turned it up. And then we got our band, baby. Our band, Duran Duran. Yay! Simon just working it. It's LeBon doing his thing in front of millions of people. It's just amazing. Okay, I know now is not the time to look through the book myself and get lost in it. I have to move on. Okay, here is the program from Live Aid. Well, actually, this is the official. Yeah, that was the concert book. This is the official program. Right here. It actually doesn't have any pictures of Duran inside, so that's the only disappointing bit. But it's just packed with really great shots of other artists, many of them from Wembley. Absolutely beautiful. Then everyone there got a concert program. So this is from Live Aid, the concert program, July 13th, 1985. And it kind of goes through all the artists, has big pictures, big format photos of them. And here's Duran. Kind of wish they had gone for a fresh photo, but you know, that's just me. And then we have the Power Station. This is quite striking. Love these shots. Look at that. Beautiful. So yeah, it kind of goes through all the artists, the Pretenders, Billy Ocean, Judas Priest, the Cars, Eric Clapton. Just absolute amazing legends. Here's a little tidbit. Duran Duran was such a major act in 1985, Bob Geldof assigned them to sing at the US event to give its lineup extra juice. Not everyone felt that way, according to lead singer Simon Le Bon. Le Bon recalls doing line checks and getting interrupted by folk legend Stephen Stills. Apparently, Stephen auditioned to be a monkey, but got rejected in part due to his imperfect teeth. Did not know that. Anyway, Simon recalls doing line checks and interrupted by Stephen Stills. Stills heard Duran Duran playing and demanded, "Will you guys shut the up?" Yeah, that'd be a no. So, be still, Stills. Okay, and Andy Zwick, production manager, he recalls, he says, comments, "People now say, how could an artist refuse to be on a show like that? But my memory prior to the event was how Bob and Harvey Goldsmith struggled to get the artists and struggled to get the show in America. Bob had to play some tricks to get artists involved. He had to call Elton and say, Queen are in, and Bowie's in, and of course they weren't. Then he'd call Bowie and say Elton and Queen are in. It was a game of bluff." You do whatever it takes to get the legends on board. Fantastic, so cool. Live Aid. This Classic Pop released a 30th anniversary celebration, minute by minute. And it's just a little supplement, but it's packed with amazing shots. Yeah, this is just beautiful. Here's, let's see. Oh, Michael Hutchence and Tony Hadley. Stephen, what's the Stephen? Beautiful, look at that. Fantastic. Then we have Nick Kershaw and Sade. Love this. Beautiful. Oh, just the power of these performances and hearing your classics. There's Phil Collins and Sting over here. And, Bono and Alison Moyet and Paul Young. Oh, amazing. Look at that. Fantastic. Oh, and there's Queen and Brian May and Mark Knopfler. Oh, they're just, to be a part of that, to just be in front of that. Oh my gosh. Oh, Jim Kerr and David Bowie. Oh, yes. David Bowie, legend, hero. Absolutely. Oh, and here's, Elton John over here. Beautiful. So, and what's really cool is just to think about all those stars milling about, backstage together. Here is Tom Petty and Madonna, who apparently was introduced as an up-and-coming star at the time, which is really not quite accurate at the time. But Thompson Twins and Neil Young, and of course we will be ending with our personal favorite, Simon and Andy, baby. Oh yeah, turn it on, bang that. Oh, good. Okay. Remember to breathe. I know, not breathing very well right now. Okay, so we're going to move on to a book here. This is from, I think I've revisited this before, Rolling Stone magazine, The Day the World Rocked. Yes. Absolutely beautiful. I hope the overhead speaker isn't interfering too much, you guys. I couldn't turn it off, couldn't muffle it anymore, so hopefully you can still not be distracted too much. Distracted from the distraction. Okay, The Day the World Rocked. It was superstar heaven. Keith Richards was laughing and talking with Jimmy Page. A bodyguard handed Bob Dylan a beer. Across the room, Jack Nicholson and Neil Young chatted. Andy Taylor with Duran Duran and the Power Station took a hit off a joint and screamed out, "Done!" Then gave Miami Vice star Don Johnson a hug. "We gonna get high!" At 1 a.m., the party inside the second floor suite of the Palace Hotel in Philadelphia was still going strong. Love these shots. Love these shots. man, Mick Jagger and Tina, oh, they've just created such energy. Oh, I loved all these guys. These just Bono. I think he blew a kiss to someone in the audience. Oh my God, it was being called the '80s Woodstock. More than 1.5 billion people, with a B, billion people from all around the world had watched on television as over 60 pop stars performed on stages. As much as $40 million had been raised for the starving people in Africa. Now it was time to cool out. Yet the communal spirit that had been in evidence at Wembley was alive at this low-key party for the stars. Oh, just fantastic shots of so much love going on that stage, and stars were feeling so proud to be part of this. Oh my gosh. Here's a little bit here. The biggest names in rock, some known for their arrogance, others for their egotism, had at least for this day and the following night and morning cut the pretentiousness and one-upmanship. Gathered together at one end of the room, drinking, chatting, and carrying on, were Bob Dylan, Keith Richards, Jimmy Page, Ron Wood, Stephen Stills, and former Temptations Eddie Kendricks and David Ruffin. Dylan wore black leather pants and over his bare chest, a black leather vest. An earring hung from his left ear, and a woman wearing a blonde wig hung onto his right arm. Fun? No, we couldn't hear anything, Dylan said of his performance with Wood and Richards. Still, it was easy to see he was enjoying himself. We had fun rehearsing. Duran Duran keyboardist Nick Rhodes and his wife, sheathed in black leather, surveyed the scene. Over by the bar, someone said to Andy Taylor, "Andy, having a good one? Or having a good time?" "He's drunk," said Taylor's wife. Keith Richards stepped out onto the patio, where he was asked what it was like playing with Dylan. "Well, it's not the first time," he said. "It's the first time you played together in public, though." "Yeah, first time before a paying audience. Of course, we didn't get paid," he laughs, then added, obviously joking, "Would have been better if we'd gotten paid." Oh my God, that's so fantastic. Okay, so here's another little bit here. At press time, this shows you the grand scope of this. We're all about the money. At press time, worldwide officials were estimating that Live Aid would net at least $40 million, but that figure could easily change. Whether we bring in 20 or 30 or 40 million or 75 depends entirely on the telethon, said Mike Mitchell. Don't know who that is. Must be an insider. Other sources of Live Aid revenue, at least $10 million in rights fees for the television broadcast, $5.6 million from ticket sales, 72,000 seats at Wembley, which sold out in 2 hours, cost $31.25 each. The numbers are just boggling, just really, really cool. This is here's all the specifics on the being televised. Within the 1984 Summer Olympics, when the 1984 Summer Olympics were broadcast, that event involved only one network, ABC, which fed its signal to participating nations. The Live Aid show, however, called for 5 independent productions on site in Philadelphia. 4 were for video, MTV, ABC, the Domestic Syndicate, and the World Broadcast, and 1 for the ABC Radio Network. 25 video cameras covered the action in JFK Stadium. Just amazing. It's such a coordinated effort. There's so much involved in that. Then finally, back at the Palace, things were heating up. There had been several sightings of Simon Le Bon and John Taylor, and the Duranis were busily calling their parents to say they'd be home late. Tina Turner and her manager checked in, then checked out at the bar where the hotel had posted a sign at the Palace Cafe Royal. "Dear patrons, our traditional dress code has been lifted for the Live Aid weekend." Oh, that's so cool. Fantastic. So anyway, the article goes on and just talks about who's there. Really, really cool. Okay. So then there were a couple other publications. This is one, there's one in Italy and one in, I think it was France, yes. So this is the Italian one. This is, here we go. It says Band-Aid in concert. and it is filled with large format photos. Oh, absolutely beautiful stuff. Let's see. Oh, there's Paul McCartney, Paul and Linda, right here, with Patti LaBelle. Look at that. Beautiful. So cool. And Fabi talks about how it was broadcasted here, so all over the world. Yeah, totally. Bringing everyone together. There's Stephen Stills, and he complained about Duran Duran, so I'm not going to show his picture. Here's a nice collage here, and you'll see Power Station in the upper left. Beautiful. So many stars. Just imagine being a part of that. Fantastic. And here's Lady Di and Prince Charles, and there's someone is hoisting a big tapestry that says John Lennon for, I can't read the other word, but yeah. So everyone was there. Everyone was there. Oh, that's so cool. Aaron's here. Hey, Aaron. Oh, here we go. Paul Young and Bryan Adams. Great performers. Great performers. Okay. So we're going to move on. And we're going to go right to what I know you've been waiting for. Where's the Duran? Oh, there's a nice big format of Simon. Look at that. That's where the wind catches his jacket and blows it, and he just looks like he's, I don't know, looks like he's flying on stage. Beautiful. So that was really fun. And so that was the Italian version. And then the French version has a different color. So that has the same content, but yeah, beautiful, beautiful celebration. Okay. Okay, and then we have, I'm totally slacking on the behind-the-scenes details. Harvey Goldsmith writes, at one point, Bob and I sat in my boardroom with David Bowie and Mick Jagger at the other end, trying to figure out how we could do a duet with one of them in America and the other one in the UK. And could we send one of them up in a rocket? It was just nuts. The day before the concert, I went out and bought 20 or 30 very large clocks and just stuck them everywhere. I sent notes round to every single act saying, I don't care what time you go on, I only care what time you come off. Oh my God, that's so cool. And Bob writes, I was shitting myself. If the bands didn't show up, 17 hours of the Boomtown Rats would have been a little too much for anybody. Paula put down white towels to sleep on that night because I had cold sweats. Suddenly the day arrives, July 13th, 1985. And Gary Kemp weighs in. I flew in with the rest of the band, Spandau Ballet, and Kenny Jones, the drummer with The Who. It hit us then, flying over the stadium and seeing the thousands of people coming into the stadium. There was this sense of a grand event going on that could equal England winning the World Cup in 1966 or the coronation of 1953. This was something that would be stamped on everybody. It was a day when, no matter how young you were, you remembered where you were. Oh my gosh, I wish I could hear your stories about where you guys were camped out in front of that TV. And the MTV VJs were covering it. I can't remember the name of, okay, as soon as I start getting caught up in trying to remember names, it's gonna be an epic fail, so I'm not gonna do that. But yeah, it's just absolutely beautiful. Bernard Doherty, the PR chief, writes, everybody showed. Bowie, Elton, everyone. They lined up around the edge of the banqueting room with its shiny floor and stood looking at one another. You know, these are stars that wouldn't normally have shared the same oxygen, right? Different genres sometimes, but they are just meeting together and just knowing that, you know, they were part of something bigger than themselves. Francis Rossi says, with a large audience like that, you do usually get a good vibe, but there was something totally unique, and I'm not sure I've ever felt it since. They weren't just people paying to see a show, they were part of it. There was such a euphoric feeling in that arena. Oh, gosh, okay. Oh, and he adds, it went in such a flash. I remember I got my face burnt because the sun was hitting the stage. It was a scorching day, a perfect day. This is fantastic. Okay. Let's see. Back to this show. Oh, Howard Jones. Yeah, all these profiles of people we've known and grown up with, and then suddenly here they are, like right there with this great cause. It's just amazing. Okay, so I'm going to take a little chance to infuse just a little Duran Duran action. Okay, I mean, we've covered Live Aid. It's just been absolutely amazing. But you know, we are here to like get our Duran on a little bit. So this is an interview from 1981, and I'll just to confuse you, I'll intersperse a few more backstories from Live Aid. Today is just a little schizophrenic. It's just like all over the place. So okay, here's a great shot of the band from 1981. Great interview, great pose, geometric designs, a little new romantic vibe there. Why our fans mean so much to us. They talk about that. That's fantastic. Simon feels that one of the best things about being in Duran Duran is that he is able to give enjoyment to so many people. I love seeing everybody smile and getting them all dancing. It's a great feeling to think, I'm doing this. It's very satisfying and makes up for any other drawbacks. But I don't think I'm particularly special. If you've got lots of drive and ambition, I think practically anybody can make it. Yeah, I think we might have to have some words about that later, Simon, because not everybody can do what you do. So, okay, back to Live Aid. This is so cool. Gary Kemp says, dare I say it, it was evangelical. That moment when Geldof stopped I Don't Like Mondays and raised his fist in the air. He was a sort of statesman, a link between punk and the New Romantics and the 80s. You would follow him. He just has a huge charisma. He'd make a frightening politician. And Bob writes about that. It was only when I walked on stage with the band that the romance of it and the hugeness of it got to me. That moment when I pull up sharp on Mondays, and that lesson today is how to die. It's quoting the lyrics. Bob says, time became elastic, like I stood there for hours and my hand just stayed in midair. You know, that's actually how I feel when I'm at a Duran show. You know, just time just like stops or slows, and just every note from like the melodies on Nick's keyboard, John's bass, I mean, just like everything stops and slows down, and I want to sample every single minute. And of course, it's going by faster than I can keep up with. So, but yeah, imagine that was just tenfold with Live Aid. Here's an article from 1984 from Music Express, When Cameras Go Crazy. Beautiful. Great shots from 82. Phil Collins, you know, that when he played, I mean, I remember reading about him taking the Concorde and playing both shows. I mean, that was incredible. Phil Collins writes, he has an interesting story. All the baggage handlers came out to wave goodbye. Then we took off on the Concorde. Cher was on the flight, just heading back to the States, and I'd never met her before. So I went over and I said, hello, you know, hi, I got you, babe. And she asked what was going on. I told her about Live Aid, and she asked whether I could get her on. I told her to just turn up. I was supposed to do a live broadcast from the Concorde. The captain obviously knew about it and said I could do it, but that I wasn't to tell anybody because he wasn't supposed to let me. I thought this was crazy. Here he was telling me not to tell anybody, and the broadcast's about to go out to 1.5 billion people. 1.5 billion, my mind boggles. I don't know if there's ever been any other event that has played to so many people. Very apropos, there's two advertisements for Do They Know It's Christmas, and the story of the Band-Aid video. Beautiful. I remember there was some controversy afterwards about where the money actually went, and only some of it went to the charities that it was supposed to. That must be very hard and frustrating to kind of keep track of that and make sure it's going where it's going to. Actually, I remember reading a story about Huey Lewis he refused to perform because they couldn't guarantee the money would absolutely go to where it was supposed to go. So he was like, no, not going to be a part of it. That was an interesting approach. Okay, power station ad. Yeah. 1985, it hosted so many crazy events in Duran's history and Live Aid. Patricia's here. Hey, Patricia. Yeah, and then there's an ad from March 27, 1985. This is actually a review of the Power Station show. That's cool. Rock star John Taylor was adamant about not sitting directly in front of the window of his 2-story villa on the grounds of the Sunset Marquis Hotel. They'll see me, protested Taylor, a 24-year-old string bean. Who, assassins? No, worse than that, he said nervously, peeking out the window from behind the drapes. Those girls will see me. I don't want too many of them to gather outside. I don't want any hassles. Well, I have news for you. You signed up for the wrong train, sir. Some teenage girls had already gathered outside on the sidewalk, just in front of the garage. Word was out that Taylor, bass player of Duran Duran, was there. The 5 young, handsome members of this English rock band are worshipped fanatically and hysterically by their female fans. And male, hello. If it weren't for the security guard, the girls outside probably would have stormed the villa. Just what a picture. So, Bryan Adams talks about... I hope this isn't too frenetic and crazy for you guys, going back and forth. Bryan Adams talks about what it was like backstage at Live Aid. It was bedlam. I remember I walked up the stairs to the stage and Yoko Ono passed me. When I got to the top of the stairs, someone said that I was to start after the gentleman introduced me. That gentleman was Jack Nicholson. Oh, man. They had some really great movie stars and TV stars on the stage too, introducing acts. That was so fun. Just like a pop culture feast for the eyes. Just absolutely fantastic. Francis Rossi talked about Bowie. David Bowie was the only one sober, immaculately dressed, when everyone else looked shit-faced. I never found out how he'd managed it. Bernard Doherty writes, my overriding memory of the day was that it was all so English, organized chaos. I had to go and photocopy Do They Know It's Christmas because Bob suddenly realized half the acts didn't know the words. And I'll bet they didn't especially sing Simon's portion either. Everybody does that. Okay. So moving on. More Duran Duran from the Orient. Oh, great stuff. Moving on to like the 87 years and 89. Great stuff. Oh, a review of Bowie, Rocking BC. More Bowie action. This is from The Province, August 16th, 1987. Just beautiful. Look at that. Vancouver girls fell over David Bowie. Vancouver girls fell... David Bowie completely leaves me tongue-tied. Vancouver girls fell over for David Bowie last night. He and his giant spider spun out a monster hit at BC Place Stadium. Young fainting girls were stacked behind the stage like cordwood, and stadium staff were busy dousing the crush on the floor with buckets of water. The 40-year-old Bowie was lowered by a rope to the stage floor, reading the Glass Spider poem that opens his latest album. I remember, he was dressed all in red, and he was sitting in the chair. Beautiful. That's just unprecedented charisma. No wonder Duran Duran turned out the way they did, because Bowie was such an influence. So many influences, so many giants, so much awesome. Okay, Tina Turner writes, back to Live Aid. Tina Turner writes, the only thing I remember of the day is stabbing Mick in the foot with my high heels in the middle of It's Only Rock and Roll. And then they put us on the cover of Life magazine. I remember reading about that. With her stiletto heel, she stabbed Mick. Ouch. And Harvey Goldsmith was talking again about the target of the money. Our target until the week of the show was £1 million. That was our target. The night before the concert, Bob and I thought we might actually make $5 million. Little did any of us realize just how much would come in. I think we raised in excess of $140 million. We don't even advertise, but it still comes in. And yeah, that's amazing. Okay, here is a press kit from 1989 for the Big Thing album. The Japanese press kit. Comes in a folder. It's right here. And right here you have John. And then Nick over here. Very cool stuff comes out of Japan. Very cool stuff. Actually, I also read something about, I think it was it Stevie Wonder and Michael Jackson were supposedly considering or trying to gather a boycott of Live Aid because there wasn't enough African American acts on there. So it was interesting. I remember they put in Run DMC, and there were some other great legends, but that was one of the criticisms for Live Aid that kind of made made headlines a little bit. Okay, so then Midge-Ure. Oh, this is just amazing. Ultravox, oh, fantastic. I saw him in concert. A little girl with Christine, down here in Seattle. A little girl who used to live next door to me a few years ago told me recently that she had learned about us in history. She said she had been reading about it all and my name had come up. That's just weird. I think the legacy of Live Aid is not just the fact that there are people alive today who wouldn't have been alive, but I think young people's perspective of charity has changed. Yeah, to give and to just go that extra mile and to change the world like that, to come together, I mean, it takes amazing foresight, organization, imagination, and lots of money. And I really hope that something like that could happen again, but I don't think so. I mean, it's one of those things, if you were lucky enough to live, when you think about it, we were lucky enough to live at a time when, Duran Duran was around and top of the charts, when Live Aid happened. I mean, I guess this is how people think when they reflect on being alive from Woodstock or being able to be there. I mean, it's just such an amazing, pivotal time. I mean, there's lives that are just evolve around it or react to it. I mean, it changes trajectories. It plants itself in the forefront of our brains and just our hearts. I was just, oh my gosh, okay, I'm getting all feely. Okay, moving on. Great article from September 24th, 2004, Duran's Wild Boys Rise Again. Please, they are always rising. They are always soaring. When are you guys going to get right? Fantastic. The clothes, the music, there's no getting away from it. The 80s are back. To top it off, the original members of Birmingham's new romantic pop legends released their first single together in 21 years this week. Reach Up for the Sunrise. Reaching up, baby. But the man who walked away from it all at the height of their fame admits there were times he thought it might never happen. Roger Taylor shocked fans when he quit the band in 1986, and he goes on, since then, there have been times when I've thought there's been too much water under the bridge. But everywhere I went, people would ask when we were getting back together. I think the possibility was always there in the back of all of our minds, but it had to be a 5-way decision. Another fantastic milestone. There's so many of them. Anyway, oh my gosh, this goes on. This is Flavio Briatore. It's a big figure in Italy. Great good friend of the band. He had the band play his wedding. And when he tied the knot, there's Simon here, there's Nick here. It's beautiful, look at that. Imagine having Duran play your wedding. Of course, at that point, I'd just be like, okay, I'm getting married to the band, that's it. Here's some more pictures from the wedding. Not much of Duran, but we have, there's Roger and John and Gila and Yasmin. And oh, they're so cute. Showing up at Flavio's wedding. Beautiful. Memories. The band, there they are. They're sitting together. Yasmin's there and Gila. Fantastic. It's good to have friends in high places, right? Okay. And then they're dancing. Oh, this is great. Duran played a set. There's Simon singing with the what is it? Not the groom, the bride. Oh my gosh, this has just been a lot of energy today, and you guys are just like, ugh, responsible for it. You give me all the feels. And there's Dom and Flavio on stage. Beautiful. That would be really, really fun. And then there's a gathering in Morocco for fireworks. This is a social engagement with Simon and Yaz, and looks like all the girls too. Very cool. Quite the social butterflies they were. And Duranie have always lived, their lives bigger than life. It's just amazing. Their travels read like a travelogue, and so many feels, so many emotions, and so many awesome thoughts. Thinking about Live Aid, everyone coming together, and that's what we all do like twice a week. So it's just, I can't thank you guys enough for yet another distraction. This has been really, really fun. Live Aid anniversary, do something really special for yourselves. You are my life aid. You help me more than you know. So thank you so much. I just want to give a little congratulations to Michael DeBar on his new documentary, Who Do You Want Me to Be? It's out on Amazon. And just he's an amazing man. He was part of Live Aid with Power Station, just totally made the experience. It was really, really beautiful. Thanks again to Christine and to Madison for putting all these up on YouTube channel. And so many thanks for you guys for joining me. The sun is coming out here. It's not like an astronomical. It's not a natural event. The sun comes out when you guys are here. That's what happens. I can't believe I can't even say astrological. I can't speak at all. Thank you so much for joining me. It's been such a joy, pleasure, everything. Please be kind, stay safe, and leave a light on. I love you guys so much. Thank you.